Hello class, I'd like to continue with CSS Layout and in particular the CSS box model. Now this is the previous tutorial where I just put together a simple division tag with an ID on it. So I'm going to do a quick review of that and then add a little bit to this in this tutorial. And this will be a fairly quick tutorial, and then I'm going to go on and do another one where I create a site from scratch that centers on your page and has a lot more elements to it for the design of your page. But this first one I'll just add to it so you can get a little better sense of how these division tags come together for design. So what I'm going to create here, and I'm going to review this also, but what I'm going to create is looks like this. Pretty simple. It's just a basic 3 division tags going on here. You've got one at the top where the site title is, you've got one for the links right here, and then you've got one for the content and images. But this kind of links together with a little design to it, so that's all CSS, and it doesn't take much code to get that done. So I'll just create that from scratch just really quickly to show you how it's done. Now this is an ID. So if we go to the CSS rule here, wanted to make a note again that there's class and there's ID. You're going to see class quite a bit, and that's where you see a dot before your rule, and that's going to be applied to a specific element on your page. It's very similar to the way the ID works, but I like ID for your layout because I think it's a little bit cleaner, and you can apply these IDs to the different parts of your layout. So for example, if you have like the header and the menu and the content and the footer, each of those can be an ID instead of having a whole bunch of classes getting all mixed in together. So that can be kind of confusing to you. I think this is a really good way to start in on your CSS design, what I'm showing you here. But you'll see me use both of them, and when you get into the pre-made layouts in Dreamweaver, you'll see a lot of the class styles being applied. But we're going to use ID, and then don't forget we're going to be using a separate style sheet from this point forward. So when you do your projects, you got to make sure you do a separate style sheet. I should see minimal CSS in your HTML code. Most of your CSS should be in that separate styles.css document. Okay. So if we were going to make this look, a little more like a design, I'll just go ahead and clear this out and start a new one really quickly so you can see how that's done. So I'm going to delete that. And your CSS styles panel, if you wanted to clear that out too, that's fine. If there's a few extra things on there, that's okay. And it may get deleted automatically. But I'm just going to clear this out here, and I'm going to start this simply from scratch. So I'm going to do insert layout object division tag. I go back to my HTML before I do that. Insert layout objects division tag. Okay, and then to save time, I'm going to ID this one as header. Okay, going to come underneath that. Now if you want to make sure that you get to the right place, you can come back to your code. You got to be careful that you don't start putting division tags inside of division tags right now. Eventually you will do that. I'll show you that a little bit in the next tutorial, but for right now you want to make sure that your division tags are separate. So you could come back here if you would rather type in your code. A lot of people like to do that also. Go menu, links would go there, /division, and let's do one more, content. Okay, just like that. So you got 3 division tags. If you come back, it looks just like that. So let's apply a style to that. Let's say this is going to be site title. Okay, this will be link 1, link 2. We're going to apply styles to each of these division tags. Just do 4 there, and then content and images. So now one by one, let's just go ahead and apply something and just experiment with it. I mean, a lot of these designs you can get by experimenting. You can go out and look at different designs on the web. That's usually what I do. A lot of times I'll go to those template websites or best website awards, best sites out there, and just see what other people are doing. You may be good enough that you can just start from scratch with a blank document and build on it, but it's better if you go look and kind of get some ideas out there. So we will talk more about that. We'll also talk more about sizes of your website. We'll talk a lot about that because you want your site to look good in all the browsers and platforms out there. So ID, we're going to be IDing this. We already have a style sheet, so we'll leave it here, styles. You could do new style sheet if you don't have a style sheet yet. Okay, and then name for your selector. This one would be, it may have automatically filled it in, but you want to type $sign first and then header. So that $sign refers to the ID that you've given your division tag. Okay, so click OK. Of course, that'll take you right here. Now we're going to kind of leave that top design, the top section of it, blank. We're just going to size it, but not put any color on it. So we'll go to box. Okay, for this demonstration, we're just going to do something small. We're going to do 600 by 50. Apply that. You can see it's starting to build it right there. And then we will need to put a border on here to match up with the rest of the site so the alignment is perfect. But in this case, we'll do the color of white to make it blend in. Okay, and we're going to do style, solid, and thick. You'll see why that happens in just a minute. It's just going to make it line up perfectly. Okay, so click OK. I'm sorry, before I do that, let me go back to type, and I'll go ahead and set this up. So font size, we'll do 36. Apply that, and click OK. And if you want to right align this, you can fall back on your CSS panel and align right. Okay, let's select this second one right here. That's the menu division ID, division tag. Let's click new rule, $sign menu, ID, choose where your rule will be defined in styles.css and click OK. Okay, and this one I don't care too much about the font right now, but let's make the design look a little different. So we need to match up the width. The height would probably be smaller. Let's try that. Okay, and then let's go to the border and let's do solid and thick. Okay, we're going to do the border and the background the same color. So let's make this like a dark blue. Okay, just like that. One other thing, let me go back to menu. Let's put a background color on there. Okay, so let's do the same color. And then we need to change the text so you can see it, obviously. Okay, just like that. And we'll right align it. Okay, and each of these sections, what I envision is that images would go there. You know, it's not very often that I design a site that's 100%, you know, CSS links or all text. You're going to do your layouts in CSS because you want it to be usable, simple, easy to navigate, but you don't have to feel like every single thing has to be HTML. So if you're good at Photoshop and you're good at optimizing your images and fitting them into your design, you know, you'll start to make your sites look better, and we will talk more about Photoshop again. Okay, and let's finish this out here. So we've got one more division tag. So let's do new rule. That's the content ID. Click OK. And this one, you can probably guess we're going to do 600. Let's do a height of 300. And then let's add that border on there. Okay, we want solid. You can try these others out. Just experiment with some of this. Obviously, there's no possible way I can give you a tutorial on every single thing in Dreamweaver. That would take hours and months, and it would just too long. So I'm giving you the important things, the foundation, and then you can build on it from there and let me know if you get stuck. Okay, so we added a border, solid, thick, and dark blue. Okay, we'll click OK. Don't really need to do anything with the text there. Alright, and check that out. Now let's go do a quick preview. I can do a save all. That'll save my HTML and CSS. Let's preview this in Chrome just because that's what I use for demo. And you can see that the division tags have come together to produce a very simple design. Now, yeah, this is a stretch to create an entire site like this, but I'm sure you've seen sites where small sections look like that. You know, maybe you've got a little box, you know, 3 or 4 places on your screen that has a little heading and then an outline. So, you know, that gives you the foundation for it. You can certainly make a simple site like this, you know, and I'm going to show you some better ways to sort of incorporate your CSS designs with Photoshop and centering, making the site look better. But this is the foundation for everything really, is you're combining these division tags, changing around backgrounds and borders, formatting to create a design for your page. You do not want to use tables anymore for design. You will still use tables for tabular data like text and images possibly inside of a division tag. That's fine to use, but for the whole site you don't want to use a table. Okay, so let me come back to Dreamweaver and just review again what I've done here, and then I'm going to pick up with another tutorial starting from scratch and designing a site that is centered on your page, a little bit bigger, and has some more CSS formatting to it. So 3 division tags here. If you check the code out, 1, 2, 3 IDs of header, menu, and content. Okay, CSS rule, we did a new style sheet, header, menu, and content. When you do these new rules, remember you have to type in the number sign, numerical sign there, and then the name of your ID, and define your rule in your separate CSS document. Okay, then we define type, we define the box on here, and the border, colors, make the different things on there. And we did no background for the content, just the border, did a background color for the menu. Those link up and kind of create what looks like a little design. And at the top, one other thing we did with the header is we did put a white border on there to match up so that the alignment is the same. If I did not have that border on there, I'll show you what happens. This is the easiest way to do that. You can see that it doesn't quite line up now because there's no border. Now you could make that division tag just a little bit longer. These division tags don't have to be exactly the same size. Usually they will be because you're creating some sort of a design and you don't want to get out of hand with different sized division tags. If you're doing a simple design like this, there may be cases where you will do a lot of different sizes. But in this case, if I did change the size of this, let's say I did 700 so you can see a difference. You can see that moves the site title out there. So lots of different approaches, and if you're just doing small variations in sizes, that's okay. I'm talking about, you don't want to do something crazy like have a tiny little division tag that's like 3 or 4 pixels wide and then have a big one. You don't want to have a whole bunch of them on there. So start out simple and kind of build on it. Also, I recommend checking often in your browsers. Check in, you'll probably have Internet Explorer on there if you're on a PC. I always go check on Internet Explorer through Parallels. I just run Windows on my Mac through a program called Parallels, so I would check that on Internet Explorer. And then you've got Safari, Firefox, and Chrome. If you're checking on those browsers, you pretty much have yourself covered. And you can check on older versions as well, but the newer ones are going to be fine for this class checking them. So anyway, that's it for this tutorial. The next one I will start a brand new site and continue with more CSS and the CSS